Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're basically turning your screen into a virtual submarine for a science classroom lecture that is entirely unlike anything you've seen before. We are taking a literal dive into the most alien environment on Earth. You know, just beneath those calm, familiar blue waves lies a completely different reality. It's a world not meant for human eyes, where light literally vanishes and life takes on forms that seem, frankly, impossible. So, buckle up because we're descending into the deep sea.
Think about this wild contrast for a second. We have sent humans to the moon, right? And we can peer billions of light years out into the cosmos. Yet, ironically, we actually understand those distant planets way better than the massive bodies of water right here on our own planet. It's crazy. The single largest habitat on Earth is still our greatest unknown.
And to put that mystery into perspective, it is absolutely shocking to realize that a measly 5% of our ocean floor has actually been mapped or even seen by human eyes. That means 95% of this underwater universe is completely shrouded in darkness. We are barely even scratching the surface here.
So, here is our dive plan for today. We're going to logically guide you downwards, starting at the familiar surface, crossing the twilight border, plunging into the midnight darkness, braving the crushing abyss, and finally hitting the absolute bottom where the rules of biology are completely rewritten.
All right, let's start our descent right at the top, looking at Section 1, the familiar surface.
So, this top layer, the sunlight zone, runs exactly how we were all taught in school. From the surface down to about 200 meters. This environment heavily relies on the sun to power photosynthesis. Basically, sunlight feeds the microscopic plankton, and those plankton anchor the entire food chain. Small fish eat the plankton, big fish eat the small fish, and it all operates on the standard rules of nature we see around us every single day. But as our sub drops further, that normal world begins to fade.
Moving down past the 200-meter mark, we hit Section 2, the twilight border, where things start to get really weird.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone. It's this incredibly eerie borderland where light kind of simultaneously exists and doesn't. The sunlight that does manage to filter down here is practically useless for plant life. So, with no green plants to create energy, creatures have to survive by eating whatever drops from above. It's a continuous, slow-motion shower of dead plankton, broken organisms, and just microscopic debris. Scientists call this nutrient fall marine snow, and it is absolutely crucial for survival in this dim realm.
Down here in the shadows, being seen means being eaten, so animals have evolved some frankly unbelievable survival strategies. Many creatures have become completely transparent, literally so clear you can see their internal organs, using that transparency as a living invisibility cloak. Others become their own light source through bioluminescence, and this isn't just to look pretty, it's a weapon. They use these glowing lights to lure in curious prey, or they cleverly match the faint sunlight coming from above to blend right into the water and hide.
Now, this is mind-blowing. We have to talk about the sheer scale of what biologists call vertical migration. Every single night, billions of creatures, fish, squid, jellyfish, travel all the way up from this dark layer just to feed in shallower waters, and then they sprint back down to the depths by dawn. It is literally the largest animal migration on Earth. In fact, this daily swarm is so massive and dense, it famously tricked early submarine sonar machines. The signals bounced off all those animals and falsely registered them as the solid ocean floor. How crazy is that?
Leaving those fading traces of light behind, we drop further into Section 3, the midnight darkness.
Say goodbye to the sun, because down in the midnight zone, there is no morning, no afternoon, just an eternity of absolute pitch-black water. Temperatures plummet to near freezing, and the sheer weight of the water above you creates a brutally hostile environment. The water pressure here is so crushing that if a human were exposed to it, the body wouldn't survive for even a fraction of a second.
But life always finds a way, right? The darkness forces some terrifying yet totally genius biological solutions. You've got creatures with ultra-black skin that absorbs any stray bioluminescent light, acting like a shadow to become totally undetectable. Then there's the dragonfish. This horrifying little predator hunts using invisible red bioluminescence. It basically acts like night vision sniper goggles. The dragonfish can see its prey perfectly, but the prey cannot see the red light at all. And finding a mate in the pitch black? It's so rare that when a male anglerfish finally finds a female, he literally bites onto her and permanently fuses into her body. Talk about a clingy partner. He eventually becomes just an attached organ, all to ensure the species survives.
Sinking even further,
we reach Section 4, the crushing abyss.
The abyss is this massive, quiet plain. Food is unbelievably scarce down here, so creatures live their lives in extreme slow motion just to conserve every single ounce of energy. Giant isopods and scavengers just slowly roam the emptiness, but occasionally they hit the absolute jackpot, a whale fall. When a massive whale dies at the surface, the carcass eventually sinks all the way down. This delivers an explosion of nutrients, creating a frenzied, bustling oasis of life out of absolutely nowhere. It can sustain an entire localized ecosystem in the dark for years, sometimes even decades.
And if you keep going below the abyss, you hit the trenches, the Hadal Zone. Down in places like the Mariana Trench, the water pressure is unimaginably violent. We're talking hundreds of times greater than at the surface. It completely challenges everything we thought we understood about the limits of biology, creating an environment that, mathematically speaking, seems entirely incompatible with life.
Yet, amazingly, life adapts even here. Meet the humble snailfish. Honestly, looking at it, it just seems like a normal, somewhat unimpressive fish. But it survives the bone-crushing weight of the deepest trenches simply by having a soft, highly flexible, almost gelatinous body. Instead of evolving hard, rigid armor to fight off the pressure, it evolved to just absorb and bend with it. It survives precisely because it doesn't try to fight the ocean.
Hitting the absolute bottom of our deep dive, we arrive at Section 5, Rewriting Biology.
This is a massive paradigm shift. Down at these staggering depths, scientists discovered hydrothermal vents, basically deep-sea cracks pouring out scalding hot mineral-rich water. And clustered all around them, thriving massive ecosystems that are completely disconnected from the sun. Instead of photosynthesis, these environments run on chemosynthesis. Microbes are extracting chemical energy directly from the boiling toxic water, and entirely new food webs are built around them. Life here proves without a doubt that you do not need the sun to have a thriving ecosystem.
And that forces us to ask a monumental question as we wrap up our explainer today. If extreme, highly pressurized, completely sunless environments on Earth can support complex, thriving life using purely chemical energy, isn't it entirely possible that the dark, ice-covered subsurface oceans of distant moons, like Jupiter's or Saturn's, are hiding life of their own? The deep sea isn't just the unexplored part of our world. It might actually be our ultimate blueprint for finding life across the universe. Think about that the next time you look out at the ocean.